Joe Gabbard asks, my question for the next Please Hold. Could Dave talk about lettering and some of his thoughts on it when doing it? And then he qualifies not just the technical part of doing it, but the creative part, the stretch and squash, the punching word balloons, the inventive letter forms. I'm just really fascinated with that aspect of Cerebus and haven't really heard Dave talk about it much. Even in today's digital age, it confuses me that with all the tools available, lettering still looks bland and forced in most comics. May the shop talk commence. It's a way of thinking. Again, the story in Out of the Depths that was almost all sound effect lettering, almost all sound effects. And the same thing that you saw with what lettering could do in the hands of a master of lettering like Bill Payne in all of the images that I got Rolly to scan out of Orb that Bill Payne worked on. It's thinking in terms of words. Okay, I know what that sounds like. So what does that sound look like when it's being translated into lettering? And that's someone who, for some reason, was gifted by God with a sensibility that was on the borderline between words and pictures, so that words become pictures and pictures become words. I'm thinking of both of those at the same time while I'm working on something. And particularly when I'm working right now on the Ninja High School crossover. And it's, I'm doing ninjas and I'm doing high alert sort of thing. Like, the Tomb Raider Red Sophia is being tracked, and so this is the page that I just finished. This is page 23, and it's okay. It's the Ninja Corporation, and the villain has appropriated them, and it's trying to get them to track and find Red Sylvia and get the Mystic Topaz back from her. Comic book stuff. And I went, okay, well, she's in the compound. Ben Dunn has her in the compound and sort of looking down at the character that owns the Ninja Corporation, who's being subverted by the villain, and so consequently they're looking for her, and it's like, well, okay, it's ninjas, so there's going to be sort of a kind of telepathy about it, or telepathy combined with a corporation that's trying to protect its compound. So basically, I just did 3 or 4 blocks of text. All ninjas, presently on duty. You're looking for a redhead in a chainmail bikini, and she's got a valuable gem with her. And it's like, it was just like 3 or 4 blocks of text, but instead of just pasting those in as, okay, they're looking for, it's like, no, exactly the way it would, how would it be in a compound where, okay, it's coming through speakers and it's also being communicated telepathically through the ninjas. So basically just take those blocks of text and reduce them on the photocopier and enlarge them on the photocopier and just paint it up so it's paste it up so it's basically a montage surrounding Red Sophia as she's fleeing and bringing in a ninja who's the first one who sees the redhead in the chainmail bikini. And it's okay. We know what that would be like if you did have a high alert in a government compound, and we do know what that would like is like in a movie. How do you do that in comic form? And it worked really well. It's like the blocks of text are echoing each other. Some of them are just fragments spilling off of the page. Some of them are enlarged. Some of them are reduced. But I've never seen anybody do that before because it's okay. It's an auditory thing. As soon as I'm going, okay, well, I know what I'm picturing, which is this high alert, and it's echoing through the whole compound while she's fleeing through the compound. So what would that look like if you're turning it from a concept of sound to words? It's you can't do sound in a comic book. All of your sound in comic book is words. So, and words are visual because they're iconic images. So consequently, it's what does that sound look like as a picture? What does that picture look like as a sound? And for some reason, and I don't know what it is, I have that, and most people don't. Most artists, a good example is the story that I did with Joe Rubenstein in Swords of Cerebus Volume 2, where it was all sound effects. And it was Joe went and got a letterer to do the sound effects. And it's like, why would you do that? Why can't you draw your own sound effects? They're pictures. You're already drawing pictures. You're drawing people, which are, difficult enough to simplify and do in iconic form. Words and letters are just the same thing. It's, I've already roughed them in. It's like, here, this is roughly what these sound effects would look like in order to communicate. But Joe, as an artist, couldn't letter and didn't see letters as pictures and pictures as letters. And as I say, most people don't. Most letterers, it's like it is the same as you wouldn't ask the letterer to draw the comic book in most cases, because letterers letter and artists draw. Inkers ink. It's we're all in our separate compartments, and it's like I'm going, well, they're not separate compartments. It's all the same compartments. They're just different categories, and there's more gray areas between them. Just think of those gray areas as a different form of what you're already doing, and this just doesn't register with artists, letterers or inkers. If I'm an artist, most of the time I'm going to need a letterer. If you think about it, there are only a handful of artists that lettered as well. I mean, Frank Thorne is an example. Steve Ditko is an example. If you're getting me to do comics, I'm gonna do all of it because I do all of it. Lettering to me is as much a part of comics and as much a part of my makeup as my pencil part, my inker part. But there are other guys where, and the vast majority of guys, where it's like, no, if I'll get a letterer to do lettering. I'm a penciler, or I'm a penciler inker, and I don't really know why that is, but that's a big part of what doing comics is to me. Is okay, this is something that I want to do in a Kubert font because it really doesn't need personality brought to it. But there's maybe a word in that word balloon where, okay, that one I am going to have to hand letter. Why do I have to hand letter that as opposed to doing it as a Kubert font? And it's like, I don't know. I just look at it and go, this is going to be more evocative of what I'm trying to communicate if I hand letter it than it is going to be if I do the Kubert font. But I don't know that until I'm actually working on the page and I've got it pasted up with the computer font, or I started doing the computer font and then went, no, I need hand lettering here, and hand lettering here. How it looks, how the letters as images, and letters are images, how they look and how they're composed tell you how they sound. And it's like, okay, I'm far more interested in Strange Death of Alex Raymond than I am in Ninja High School, but I want to give full value to both of them. And it was okay. I came to the last panel, and okay, it's almost a solid black background because it's ninja, so I'm going to do Frank Miller ninja stuff, and that's high contrast, sensitive black and white sort of thing. So I want to retype the block of text and in white on black on the computer, but I don't want to just paste it in. It's like okay, now I've got a ninja actually in the panel, and now I've got a black background, and now I've got white lettering that I'm doing on it. I really don't have time for this, but in for a penny, in for a pound, printed out the white on black lettering, and then took the white on that block of text and wrapped it around a masking tape roll that I've got so that it's curved, and then took my video camera and switched it to still photo and took a still photo of the curved block of text and photographed that, and then downloaded that from the video camera onto the computer and manipulated the image so that it's as dark as I could get it, high contrast, black and white, and print that out and go, okay, it's about twice as big as it needs to be, because I was just concerned about getting the curve to it. It's like I'll figure out exactly what size it's going to be when I reduce it on the photocopier. All of that could be done on computer, but I'm not a computer technician. I'm an artist and I'm a letterer, and even when I'm doing computer font, I still want to work with it physically, and I want to paste it up physically. And I'm fortunate that part of the deal with Ben Dunn is that Sean Robinson is doing the all of the tech on each of the pages. You will get perfectly formed, perfectly reproducible pages that you can color because I need them to be that way in black and white. So it's pasted up on the original. It's kind of gray. It's grayer than I thought it would be. I could have dicked around with it a little more on the computer to see, okay, how dark can I get it before I start losing the white? And then once I had pasted up, I went, it would look a lot nicer if I inked all the black in around the letters. And it's like I'm going, Dave, no, you're done. It's like, this is just the original artwork. Sean Robinson is the one who's going to, because of his ability, make sure that all of that white lettering is 100% visible in the black and white and in the coloring. That's as close as I can come to answering your question in a general sense. If there was, if you want to try this again next month for the June, please hold for Dave Sim. Find specific examples of my lettering where you go, okay, how did you come up with this? What's the thinking on how this thing was that you did in issue 30 or issue 75 or whatever it is? And I'll try and micromanage and micro describe. Oh, okay, for this specific thing, this is why I took this word that is this sound effect and said, okay, this is what this is going to look like because this is what this sounds like. So this is what this sound looks like in my head, and this is how I'm going to draw this sound.
The thoughts I had while you were talking were Eisner. A lot of this comes from you being a fan of Eisner.
Yes. Yes.
I have Will Eisner's Shop Talk, and in his interview with Jack Kirby, going back to, Kirby started in the Eisner-Eiger studio, and Eisner says, you put the words in first, and Jack goes, well, they don't let me, but that's how I was trained to do this, and Eisner's like, good boy, Jack, good boy. And every time I read that, I'm just going, these are two of the titans of the industry, and it's very much the first thing you learn is the thing you're going to remember. And
right.
And the second thing was you and Gerhard's Will Eisner tribute for the one, I think it was the Chicago Con, where everybody's doing spirit pieces, and you guys did A Contract with God. And that particular panel you guys did kind of ruined The Contract with God for me. Because I saw it in Following Service and went, oh yeah, that's neat. And then I got my copy of A Contract with God. In fact, I have the 3-volume Contract with God trilogy where it's A Contract with God. I can't remember what... It's 2 of the other books, and it's all in one bound volume. And when I was reading The Contract with God for the first time, I got to that panel, and I'm like, I remember this as being more dramatic. And finally, after like 5 minutes, it dawned on me, I'm thinking of Dave's version.
Yeah. Will even said that. And it's like that's the protege. You're always trying to compete with the master. I mean, that's what you hope you can do, is you can get to the point where you go, okay, you taught me everything. Not, me sitting beside you, but everything that you did, I looked at and went, that's brilliant. That's thinking. That's hardcore thinking. That's Will was definitely the first guy on the borderline between those two, going, no, the words are pictures, and the pictures are words. There's, they blend into one another, and they need to if you're going to communicate effectively. So it's like, is not God obligated to honor his agreements? And it's like, okay, well, he's Hebrew, and he's going to be saying it with a Yiddish accent. So what does the word agreements look like when it's being enunciated by an Orthodox Jew? And it's like, agreements. It's not agreements. And I remember Will was kind of hypnotized by it when he saw it. And just to drop another name, Harlan Ellison was on the other side of him, and Harlan Ellison's inner Jew, which was never a religious Jew, but was definitely a definite Jewish person, said, "Here, let me read it for you," and read it in a way that it's like, yeah, Harlan Ellison can do a much better reading of Dave Sims' A Contract with God page than Dave Sim can do, because Harlan Ellison is actually Jewish. So, yeah, that was. Thank you for bringing that up. That's definitely very much along the lines of what Joe was asking about here.
And well, then the other one I thought of was Latter Days, which everything post 200, the lettering. Everyone has said that even though they don't like the content of the last 100 issues, the lettering got more and more creative, and the page that in my mind always pops up as that's just Dave showing off is the Three Wise Fellows bit, where during the Milkmaid underground, where there's the competing sanctuary with Sarah Butts, and Cerebus is torturing the Three Wise Fellows by every time he gets a chance to enunciate the word of truth, he's just laying into him, and then sitting back and watching what happens, and it's all letters. It's just tink, 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 and then at the end it's, a lion, and when you read that, you get there and you're like, what is all it is a lion. And that's just Dave showing off. I mean,
yeah,
and that's where when people go, Dave only won awards for lettering. It's like, well, it's not necessarily undeserved. I mean, yeah, the book could have won best series and all this stuff, but I mean, name another comic with a lettering style where you could see any panel from any page and go, okay, yeah, that's Dave.
Yeah. It was funny because that was an argument that I had with Bill Payne, which was probably the earliest time of a guy who I looked at and went, you are like sky or no higher when it comes to lettering, because this was, when I was 20 years old, and Bill Payne would have been probably in his 30s, if not his 40s, at that time. And actually having a conversation with a guy where I was going, I am an aficionado of lettering and all that can be done in lettering. And here I am actually talking to the best letterer I've ever seen about lettering at this org party in Toronto, which was the only time that I really had any face time with Bill Payne. And we were talking about, I forget the character in, it was a P.T. Barnum as a bear, but it wasn't P.T. Barnum. It was something that sounded like that Walt Kelly came up with. And he talked in display lettering, like everything looked like a circus poster. And enthusing about that to Bill Payne. That yes, a good example is, and I knew the character off the top of my head, which I don't know, Barnum P. Bombast or whatever it was, and Bill Payne going, no, that's completely wrong. That's interfering with the reading experience by calling too much attention to the lettering. You want to do good lettering, but good lettering communicates, and something that calls too much attention to it as lettering is working at cross purposes to actual communication. And it's like, no, I have to disagree with you on that. Not only was it incredibly difficult to do, and not only did Walt Kelly do an amazing job of it, but no, for me, it's you need to have times where you do that. But at the same time, I understood Bill's argument, and on exactly that thing that you're talking about, where if I, as the storyteller, as the writer, and as the guy that's putting this story together, showing off is exactly the thing that you don't want to do, because you don't want to take people out of the story and have them go, oh, this is just Dave showing off, which is exactly true. Yes, that's what it is Dave showing off. But when you have those chops and you work on those chops, and you go, okay, I'm probably the guy that's gone the deepest into this. What does that sound look like when you're doing agreements and you have to have the spittle flying, and what letter is the spittle flying around, and how much spittle is it, and which direction is it going? You know, if the A doesn't have spittle and the KRH does have spittle, what angle is it going at? And it's like, there's not a lot of guys who have been in here, but this is Dave, one of the places where Dave Sim does live and breathe. And every once in a while, I'll take you out of the story just to make you go, oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know anybody else that does stuff like that.
The bear was P.T. Bridgeport.
P.T. Bridgeport. Thank you. Thank you.
He's named after P.T. Barnum, the most famous resident of Kelly's boyhood home of Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
That's why I figured I'd say something, because I'm like, I'll go on Wikipedia and go for Pogo characters, and here's the list.
That's why I would never get any work done. Wikipedia takes you from thing to thing to thing, and you go, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay.